Hey, how are you doing? I'm Antonia K. Moore and I'm here with you again today just to chat to you a little bit about music and the music industry, and just to let you know as well something really cool. Yesterday I was at a talk in a club called the Sugar Club here in Dublin, and it was with a guy that you might have heard of before called Alan McGee. And if you haven't heard of him before, which most people actually haven't, unless you are a dedicated music fan, or unless maybe you love some of the 90s indie music that was out at the time. He discovered Oasis, and he has a plethora of amazing artists on his books, including, or at least they went through his books if they're not currently on them, people like the Libertines, Teenage Fan Club, The Hives, of course Oasis, Primal Scream, Ride, and just a ton more. I was even so surprised at all of them, and then some were actually all on his label back in the day at Creation Records. So the guy is absolutely amazingly inspiring. The guy just absolutely is a living legend, and he gave a great talk yesterday as well, like at the club. He's just really cool, really down to earth, and is telling it as it is. Even I think shaming some people in the audience as well. They're asking stupid questions like, oh, Blur, Oasis. I mean, like, fuck's sake, who the fuck cares? And he even mentioned, before people started asking that question, he mentioned, oh yeah, like people are always kind of going Blur, Oasis. He's like, I think Damon Albarn's a great chap. I think he makes some great music and I've got no problem with them, And one person in the audience asked it anyway, and then somebody else tried to be funny going, oh, have you heard of Father Ted? Well, Father Ted likes to say, are you like Oasis or are you Blur? And he was kind of going, what? I don't even understand what you're saying. Because the guy had a big, thick Dublin accent, and I was just like, oh God, cringe. But anywho, it was a great talk nonetheless, and I'm going to give you lots more info about it, but not today, because I wrote it down in my notes and I haven't transferred my notes over to my Google Docs yet, because I have loads of different points, and I could kind of recall some of them, but like there's some really cool points of interest there that I'd like to actually relay on here to you on YouTube. So I'm not going to do it today. I'll do it another day because I'll have it in front of me and I'll be able to give you all the juicy details. But anyway, for the moment, for now, I want to give you some tips on staying focused and creative in the music industry. Actually, before we do that though, one cool, really cool thing actually, if you were to go onto my Instagram, onto my story actually on my Instagram, you'll see what, really quick, he told us yesterday, Alan McGee told us yesterday that basically he wrote a book a couple of years ago about his whole career in the music industry as a manager and everything else. And basically he was picked up and read by Ivan Welsh. Now, admittedly, Alan McGee said that he doesn't actually think it's a very good book. He thinks it's okay, which is, a good, honest opinion of his own work. I haven't seen it or read it. I didn't even know he had a book out, but I would be interested in picking it up. At the same time too, it's like, I kind of know enough about like the 90s indie scene and things like that. One thing, just to go off track a little bit, like that I thought was a bit cringe, was the fact that like before he came on stage to do his talk, there was like obviously his current protege, which are a band that I don't know what the name of them are, played a few tracks, and I was just like, oh God, whatever, get him off the stage. We're not really here to see them anyway. But like they were just dressed exactly like it was the 90s, the sun cap, the trackies, all of that kind of thing, and it's just like, that's so 90s. And I really don't think that a band are ever going to go anywhere if they're all dressed in like that kind of 90s gear, singing sort of, 90s rhythmic tunes that may be their own, but they're still going down that nostalgia route. I mean, okay, we had the Stone Roses, brilliant, class. They were like, a league of their own. And I think they came from the Spiral Carpets. And the Spiral Carpets were kind of just, I think they just did it themselves initially. And then, the Stone Roses then, came out of the Spiral Carpets. And then out of the Stone Roses then came, Oasis. And it was just like a very steady incline. It was just a very steady progression in indie music in the 90s. It kind of all came from like the 80s and the early 90s. But anyway, long story short, or actually short story long rather, they're doing a movie. Ivan Welch, who is the guy that I think wrote and directed Trainspotting, He has picked up Alan McGee's book and he wants to make it a movie, which he's currently doing, and he's casting for it at the moment. So if you or anybody you know looks like Liam Gallagher and has a swagger like Liam Gallagher, you're in luck. You could be in the next Ivan Welch movie, which would be huge. I would launch your acting career and boom, there you go. So all you gotta do is go onto my story on my Instagram feed as soon as you can and check it out. And if not, then it's check out Alan McGee. Go Alan McGee, MACGEE, I think it is. You'll see him on my followers anyway on Instagram as well, or just Google him. And there's a sub Instagram account that he has, I think, for a business, and I can't remember what that is called. And like that followed me there today, and I followed it back, and then I saw like that they're doing open auditions for Liam Gallagher. So there you go, that's a little bit of a tip. So check that out if you can. So anyway, I digress. So straight into my top tips for being focused and creative in the music industry. So tip number 1, stamina. Now I mentioned this before, but like stamina, you definitely need. You need to, I think perseverance, persuasiveness. It's not persuasiveness, sorry. So perseverance is definitely my number 1 thing of all, because if you keep at it and keep at it and keep at it and keep at it, something is bound to come back at you. So I think stamina is huge, because with the music industry, it's so hard in the fact that like there's so many different musicians out there, and venues are not expected to pay them money because they just think they'll find somebody else that will play for free if you don't want to. It's like, what makes you so special? I'm not going to pay you when I can get somebody to play for free, unless you're going to bring a huge following, unless you're going to put a lot of money behind the bar, or unless you're going to be all over social media, yada, 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 the usual. So anyway, you really need to just keep on going with it, because, you just got to persevere through it all, and, something will come of it if you just keep on track of things, keep with the momentum. That is the biggest thing, keeping with the momentum. You drop the ball, it's going to hard to get back up again. So number 2, journaling. And I don't know if you've heard of anything called the morning papers, but basically it's when you wake up in the morning, you get your journal, you write down, say 5, 10, 20, 200 things that you're grateful for, be it the sugar in your coffee, sheets in your bed, the carpet on the ground, the roof over your head, whatever it is. Just, I'm thankful for that, And then if you write down how your day is going to go in a very positive manner, obviously, and how you'd like things to turn out in the past tense. So today was a great day, I achieved that will put you in the mindset and the frame of mind for the day. So that's it. That's a great tip actually, to do that. And it's so simple. People are thinking like, oh, getting a journal and a pen and writing something down every morning. I'm not going to do that. That's laziness. Fucking get a pen and paper and just write it down. It will really sort you out. And if you do it for a few weeks at a time, and after a couple of months, you're going to really, really notice the difference in your life. It's going to be massive. Time is a powerful editor. That's an interesting one. Leave that resonate for a second. Time is a powerful editor. And what I mean by that is that if you're obviously right now at the moment, if you do something, whatever it is, if you're launching an album, an EP, that whatever it could be, you can learn from your mistakes and just don't make the same mistakes twice. So for the next time you do something, you can just change it, you can rearrange it, you can edit it, you can move it, you can progress. So just don't make the same mistakes twice. Time is a powerful editor. Tip number 4, don't wait to get inspired. If you're just going to wait around to try and get something or find something that inspires you to write that song, to pick up your guitar, to whatever, you're going to be waiting a long time. People don't get inspired every single day. They might get inspired once a month if they're lucky, when you have that moment of oh my God, I really want to do that right now. That doesn't happen every day. It might happen every week, but maybe in small doses. But a real dose of inspiration doesn't really happen that often. It would definitely be probably once a month. And if you're only going to sit down at your table once a month to write a song, it takes a lot more than that to write a song. So probably take you a year if you were to like do the bridge here and, you know, a paragraph there, and if you were to do the chorus here, and like you just only did that when you were inspired, you'd never get shit done. So all you gotta do is like just sit down with your thoughts, with your mind, you know, and just, you know, relax into it and just leave things come to you naturally. Don't force it. There's no point in forcing it. Another thing as well, tip number 5 is go for a walk. You know, it's too easy in the morning to get out of bed after you journal, of course, and just, you know, flick on the TV or open up your laptop, sit on the couch, set your table, start picking up the guitar or writing or whatever it is. If you go out into the fresh air and just go for a 10-minute stroll, just whatever, that will inspire you mostly, because you'll wake up your body, you'll wake up your senses, because you'll be out in the, you know, you'll be out in the atmosphere, in the environment. You'll be able to smell, you'll be able to feel the wind, you'll be able to, like, you know, maybe see squirrels or see little animals or see people, or, you know, or your thoughts will come into your mind about like, oh, isn't the traffic so crazy, or isn't that bird really beautiful, or aren't the trees so nice, or isn't that wind so cold? Whatever it is, these are things that will inspire you. So going for a walk first thing in the morning is really productive. Tip 6, take note when something inspires you. So rather than just, you know, having that dose of inspiration when you could be in the pub or something like that and going like, oh my God, I must remember that and I must put that down, you know, later when I get home, I'll write it down or whatever. Just open up your Google Docs on your phone. I think it's amazing. I love Google Docs. So whether it's your notes or if you've got a pen and paper or whatever it is, go into your phone, send a message to yourself, send an email to yourself. And just go on and just write down that moment of inspiration. And the fact that you're going to write it down within the moment as well, the words would be a lot different than they would be if you write it down in 2-3 hours. So it will kind of like inspire you again, because like the words will come out a lot easier and they'll be more correct to how it was in the moment. So write it down as soon as you can. Just open up your Google Docs. I mean, as I said, I love Google Docs because I can go from my phone to my iPad to my laptop, and I'm just like, yes, so handy. So tip number 7, you can always make a collage to inspire you. So yeah, it can help with things like writer's block. So if you have writer's block, rather than trying to like force yourself to think and force yourself to be creative and force yourself to be musical, all you have to do is maybe just like do something like, okay, well, I've got this time and this space. So if you have like newspapers, if you have magazines or whatever it is, you can just you know, maybe pull out some pictures or whatever. You could even go on Pinterest, make a mood board or something too. But you can just be creative by just, you know, cutting off heads and pinning them to bodies, or creating, you know, different animals or whatever it is, like houses, property, you know, pretending you're on holiday, like kind of like using Photoshop or whatever. You can just like do something like that, like just get like, you know, paper, get like, I suppose, glue, and start tearing out pieces, like, and just like, you know, just sticking them onto the paper. And, you know, that will kind of just drive a little bit of creativity. Will awaken the brain, like, and make your creativity a bit more active. So that will help as well, like, you know, to kind of get you going, like get your creative juices flowing. So I would recommend just doing something like that, because it's not a lot of effort. It's not something like, you know, that's overly creative, but it's something that does jog your mind. Because if you're just like, you know, coming across random pieces of paper, whether you're putting them into a scrapbook or whether you're putting them into just on a large canvas or A4 sheet, then, you know, you're going to be kind of like getting into the rhythm of it, and you're going to start enjoying it, and, you know, it's going to be fun. And also painting, like if you can like get out a canvas or paper as well and start painting again, like that's going to be the same thing. You're going to start like getting into it, like, and enjoying it. So therefore, if you're enjoying it, that's kind of going to get you going as well. Like maybe it's going to get some ideas coming to your mind, and you'll be able to start writing. Steal like an artist is what they say. This doesn't mean you copy other people's work. This just means that if you are also looking for a bit of inspiration and you want to stay focused, just, you know, look to your favorite artists, look to people that are, you know, that you know in the music industry at the moment, that you really like, that you like the sound of or the look of or whatever it is, and just like, you know, you can take a little piece of it, like, and make it your own. So you can like just incorporate different aspects of different you know, I suppose musicians. You could take from different artists, whatever it is, you can just take it and innovate it, because obviously this day and age, there is very little, if anything, that is pretty much brand new. Everything is innovated. I mean, even the toilet is innovated. Nothing was born completely from invention. There's no such thing as invention, only innovation, and that's actually a fact. Because nothing was just boom invented. Everything is a slow progress of innovation. For example, totally going off track here, but just to kind of let you know, like the toilet, say, even that just started off with people like, I remember the story from ages ago, actually. I'm surprised it popped into my head. But I think the people used to like, go to the loo in the river, and then it kind of progressed where I think that they had little, holes in the ground where they kind of covered over. And then it started like, I think where people like, wanted to sit down. So they basically built a box and had a hole in it. Then I think the first person to ever actually have like a proper toilet was like Queen Victoria or somebody like that. And she actually had a throne, like she had a toilet that had, it was a box with a hole in it. And so then, after many years of like her being the first person to have one, people started to make their own. And then it's developed from that into, what it is today, pretty much. So, I mean, just as something as simple as that, like there's no such thing as invention only innovation. Airplane mode is my tip number 9. Airplane mode, basically, just turn your fucking phone on airplane mode and just give yourself, some time and space to just, focus or think, or don't think too hard either. Just chill, just sit and chill and, maybe meditate if you can. And, thoughts and lyrics and ideas and all sort of yummy creative things will come to you. Get your system down. So that means just, wake you up in the morning, journaling, doing your morning papers, showing gratitude, being grateful, keeping your mind on track to keep up with stamina, using your time wisely, going for a walk every morning and taking note when something inspires you, and being creative even if you can't think of anything creative to do, by just painting, drawing, coloring, or making a collage. These are all systems that can help you to create and remain creative and focused. So, just get your system down, your morning routine, your afternoon routine, your evening routine. Just, once you kind of have that, then you can kind of really start progressing. Also, tip number 11, share your process. So, I mean, this is all down to social media again, like I've said previously in many other videos before, all about sharing your, like, it can be anything, such as when you're in a studio or when you're at home and you're trying to write that song, you just can't think of that one lyric or that one line or the chorus, the bridge. All you got to do is, you can post it. You could just post a picture of yourself. You could post a picture of your loo pad or whatever, just, going like, procrastination will kill you, or like, writer's block, hashtag, whatever. Just to be able to kind of like put things out there that people are seeing your journey, they're seeing what you're going through. Or if you're in the studio and you're recording that freaking awesome track and you're just on a high with it, like you can just like take a picture or do a video like of, you in the studio with the producer, with your bandmates or whatever it is. Just share your experience and your journey. I mean, if you remember, like I remember, like I used to love, I still love reading biographies, but I used to love watching like anything on MTV with like the backstage pass. You can see what the artists are doing like behind stage, like, and how it all works. I remember like there was I was gonna say Michael Jackson, but that wasn't really, that was a movie actually, Moonwalk. It's even older actually, I think, as well. I vaguely remember that. But In Bed with Madonna, that was like 1990, and I think I was like, I don't know, 3, well maybe not 3, okay, I think it was 5. And I don't know, I just loved Madonna back in the day. I thought she was just like great. So I was obsessed with In Bed with Madonna. I used to watch all the time, and that was just her on tour and behind the scenes and backstage. I used to love that shit, and people do, and people still do. They want to see what the fuck is going on backstage. They want to see what your personality is like. They don't want to see a polished version of you with your songs. Oh yes, you're a great singer-songwriter and you've got a great album. You know, who isn't? Who the hell are you? We want to see who you are, you know? So share your process. I mean, just like, you know, DVDs, like these to have like the extra bits, the bonus. I mean, even like on the most recent Game of Thrones, like if you stream it, they would show you afterwards about why they developed the character in such a way, or what it meant when the character did this, and how the other character reacted to it, like, and where they were going with that, or where that idea came from. That's all fucking amazingly juicy stuff. Everyone wants to know that. So just share your process. And tip 12, which is really good, it's the Pomodoro technique, I think it's called. But basically what it is, which will really help you as well if you apply it, is, you know, rather than kind of sitting down and trying to work and then procrastinating and then going, oh, back into it, and then you're procrastinating again before you know it. If you just do this, so it's like 25 minutes, work solidly for 25 minutes. So just like concentrate on writing, whatever that is, or doing whatever, working for 25 minutes. Then take a 5-minute break. And then do another 25 minutes. And then take another 5-minute break. And do that 4 times. And then before you know it, you'll have like 2 hours work done. And there'll be less procrastination because you're having that 5-minute break. Whether just making a cup of tea or whatever. That just makes you, and it's proven to make you super productive, and a lot more productive than just like sitting down at a table for 2 hours straight trying to work and not getting anything done. If you just like, you know, give yourself 25 minutes and then for 5 minutes go do something else, back again 25 minutes, then for 5 minutes go do something else, it really does actually work. So anyway, that is it from me for now. So please do hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification too. And I'm going to come back at you with lots more tips in the music industry. So for now, I'm Tony K. Moore, and thank you so much for watching this video.